I think I can say my heart is in tune with the tone of this morning's Torah readings and Haftarah readings, because it rejects both sentimentality and evasion. Deuteronomy 10:12-19 does not flatter us. It demands something precise, human, and achievable. To revere the eternal, to walk in God's ways, to love and serve, and to make room for the stranger, the widow, and the orphan. In our Haftarah, Song of Songs, chapter 2, 1-17, conveys that same call with a different tone, one of tenderness and longing, where spring emerges through the barrenness of winter and the voice of love calls, "Arise." Together, they ask what kind of people we become when liberation is no longer a dream, but a responsibility. Pesach can be reduced to memory, family rituals, and familiar food, into a story we know so well that its edges blur. Yet, the Torah will not permit that. Liberation is not a mere museum piece. It imposes obligations, and these are not abstract ones. Deuteronomy is very precise about the moral significance of remembering Egypt. It says, "Love the stranger, for you were strangers in the land of Egypt." That is not decorative. It is the test that shows whether redemption has truly become part of one's inner life. The stranger is not an idea. The stranger has a face, a schedule, a vulnerability, a name. The stranger stands at the edge of our systems, waiting to see whether we will recognize our own history in them. The Torah's answer is not pity. Pity keeps its distance. The Torah asks for identification. You were there. You knew what it meant to be dependent on someone else's mercy. You knew what it meant to live without protection. Do not build a society that forgets. That challenge is sharpened by the Song of Songs, Shir HaShirim. The beloved appears when winter is passing, when the rain is over and gone, when the land begins to show signs of life again. It is a book of emergency, of movement, of invitation. There is no stagnation in it, no love that sits still who sits still. The voice says, "Arise, my love, my fair one, and come away." The words carry both affection and urgency. Love is not passive. Love moves. Love leaves the sealed room and enters the world. That is where I want to place my political anxieties today. We are living through a moment when Jewish power in the state of Israel is not only a dream fulfilled, but a moral test. Love for Israel cannot mean silence when legislation threatens the dignity of others or narrows the public soul. The proposed Kotel bill, which would place the Western Wall entirely under ultra-Orthodox control and criminalizes non-conforming prayer, is not a technical matter of administration. It asks what kind of Jewish public space we are prepared to defend. A wall that becomes the possession of one stream alone is not a symbol of Jewish unity. It becomes a symbol of exclusion dressed up as piety. Our connection to that place is too deep, for indifference. The wall is not only stone, it is yearning, memory, grief, prayer, arrival, and rupture. Yet, if access to it is policed in a way that pushes women, reform, progressive, and egalitarian Jews to the margins, the wound is not merely legal, it is spiritual. Deuteronomy will not permit us to treat that lightly, because the command to love the stranger also means making space for Jews who does not fit the dominant religious script. A people who have known exclusion should be slow to manufacture it. The same moral discomfort rises around the death penalty bill. A state that calls itself Jewish must think very carefully before moving towards laws that normalize death as a punishment, especially when those laws are shaped by fear and applied unevenly. The horror of terrorism is real. The grief is real. The dead are real. None of that is solved by rhetoric. Yet neither can we pretend that a Jewish legal and ethical tradition built around restraint, debate, and the sanctity of life can welcome a quasi-mandatory death sentence without profound unease. The Torah reading today does not let us hide behind power. It asks for reverence, humility, and care for the vulnerable. A law that hardens the moral imagination may satisfy anger, but it does not heal a people. There is another line in our reading today that matters here. God is mighty and awesome, yet also one who shows no partiality and takes no bribe. That is not metaphysical footnote. It is a political principle. Public life withers when power convinces itself that justice belongs only to the strong. A Jewish state faithful to its own source has to resist that temptation. It has to ask whether the law protects dignity, whether it recognizes humanity even in fear, whether it leaves room for mercy without collapsing into weakness. Shir HaShirim offers a second refusal, the refusal to imagine love as possession. My beloved is mine, and I am his, the text says. But it is never simple ownership. The song is full of searching, glimpsing, calling, losing, and finding. That is a useful discipline for political love too. We do not own Israel. We are bound to it. We speak because we are bound to it. We criticize because we are bound to it. Silence would be easier and far less honest. So Pesach trains us to speak from inside memory, not above it. That is why the verse about the stranger sits so close to the verse about service and reverence. The people who crossed the sea are not asked to become triumphant. They are asked to become just. The people who eat the bread of affliction are not asked to forget affliction once they are free. They are asked to build from it. Spring, in the Song of Songs, does not erase winter. It overcomes it by insisting on life anyway. That is the spiritual register of this morning. We are not being asked to romanticize the presence or to transform fear into faith. We are being asked to notice where tenderness still presses on the world, where ethical memory still matters, where prayer still needs room to breathe, where a people still has choices. If we love the covenant, we must love its demands. If we love Israel, we must not flatter it. If we remember Egypt, we must not harden our hearts when someone else stands in the place we once occupied. And if spring has begun to stir, then perhaps the Holy One is not asking for applause, only for movement, for the courage to rise and to come away. Chag Sameach. And so